Subscribe, please.
Now I'm hungry. My stomach is growling. My stomach is growling. I am hungry and I want tacos. Hey guys, welcome back to another Gimpys Gal Guesses. I, for one, can't believe that it's already really the end of April. I am due in July, so it feels like July is a long ways off, but it's really not. And I think I'm 28 weeks now, so it's going by very quickly and we're getting excited and we're getting settled in our house. We keep doing little things here and there. We might do an updated tour soon if you guys want to see that. We've put a few more things up, got some things tweaked out, but yeah, we're just moving right along. And this is a guesses. I haven't done one in a little bit. Like I said, I'm going to try to get more in between now and July because when the baby comes, I'm going to be a little preoccupied. So kids are napping, neighbors are not mowing, so let's try and get this done before anything distracts us because that will happen. So this is a Compass game, and it is called Hearts. I literally just said that as soon as I started, they would start back up again. I don't know if I'm going to be able to. I'm just going to try to keep going, and hopefully I will speak loud enough that you can overlook that because I just don't know any other time. And like I said, kids are napping. I got to get this done while they're napping. So I'm going to try to go. Hopefully he will move to the other side of the house so it's not too loud. But let's get back to this. So this is Hearts and Minds, Vietnam, 1965 to 1975. It looks like an older game, but I can never tell when I look at a game if it's new or old. And if you're new to Gimpys Gal Guesses, he doesn't really tell me anything about them. He just says, I need you to do a guesses, and then I come in and do it. So I don't know anything about it. I never know anything about them, but I have learned to not really judge a game by its cover art because some of them might look like they're older, but that might be, excuse me, sorry. That might be just like what they're going for. They might be going for more of a vintage look. So I can never tell, you know, when a game was printed, if it's new, if it's even been out yet. I don't know. So I'm just going to guess the game. I leave all the other stuff to Gimpy. So if you're looking for information on the game, like how to play it, this is not the video. This is literally me guessing it. It's fun. I've said this before, but if you're new, that's what this is. This is just fun. I am not a war gamer, but my husband obviously is, and so I do this to kind of support him. So looking at this, it gives me a vintage vibe. Obviously, I know it's Vietnam. I do get that Vietnam kind of Forrest Gump feel from looking at the cover art here. And then on the back, gives us a little bit of a description, I guess, of the time and what was going on. Gives us an example of gameplay. We have some counters, the game board, some cards. And then most of these games I've learned have like complexity, they have a time scale, and they usually have components listed on the back. So I usually like to read those. So this one says the complexity is medium. The time scale is 1 turn per year. So I guess each turn counts as a year. And then map scale, it says provincial area movement, unit scale, units represent abstract fighting forces. Number of players, 1 to 2 players. Suitability for solitaire, it says medium to high, so this is a good one if you're into solitaire. Average time to play is 45 to 60 minutes per game year. So I'm a little confused because it says time scale is 1 turn per year, but it says it takes 45 to 60 minutes per game year. So I'm confused. Let's go to the components. We have 1 mounted map, 175 plus counters, 80 play cards, 1 full color rule and scenario book, flow charts to assist play, an 8-page solitaire book, and dice. So it does come with a rule book, and then it also comes with a separate book for solitaire play, which is cool. I've seen that in a lot of games that can be both. Some of them don't have a separate solitaire thing. It's all in the rule book, but this one has a separate solitaire. So, excuse me. I'm getting over a cold and allergies, so forgive me. But this is the back of the box. And I'm trying to think if I can think of any other Compass games I've guessed. I know I have, I just can't think of any right off the bat. So let me get these out. Now the only thing that Gimpy did show me were the dice. I'm gonna talk about that in a second. He brought them out to me the other night when the game arrived. And they're kind of comical. I'll pick that up in a minute. All right, let me pick this up before I forget that it's down here. All right, so set that there. All right, hopefully we can see that. So we have all of our stuff here. Here are the cards. Look at these dice, okay? These are like comically big dice, and I can't for the life of me. I mean, Bradley has dice that are this big only because he loves playing with dice, and McKenna likes to put things in her mouth. And so we get these big giant dice to kind of let Bradley have something to play with, but not something that can be a choking hazard for anyone. But I can't for the life of me figure out why the dice need to be this big for an adult game. Like, this isn't a kid's game. So I just think it's funny. There's a blue dice and a red dice, and they are massive. I mean, they're 6-sided dice, but they're huge. So those are the dice that come with it. My guess is that Gimpy will probably just use regular size dice because I just can't see how these would be, you know, they're kind of loud, and I think it's just funny. I've never seen a game that is not meant for children come with this size dice. So those are the dice that come with them as I drop them on our floor. Oh, come on. Okay, so then we have cards. We have 2 packs. I'll open them up here in just a second since there's only 2. Here are some extra little baggies to keep things in. So this says Hearts and Minds Errata Compass Games Edition 32519. Excuse me. This looks like it's just like a little thing to make a correction. It says blue card number 20 should be marked 1969. So this looks like maybe a correction that they discovered after they printed it. It's in here, and it just again says that there's a card that should be marked 1969 instead of whatever it's marked at. So then we have the, let's see, this is Rules of Play, and then this is the Solitaire. It said that the Solitaire, or that the rules also had the scenarios in it, so we'll have to check that and see. But those are the 2 books. And then we have these charts that are to assist in play. So here is one chart. It's like a fold, that heavy cardstock kind of material. So here is one side. Looks like just kind of flowy charts to kind of help with, I guess, turns and let's see. Interphase, action sequence, end action, end interphase, combat procedure, end combat procedure. And then on this side we have mobilize, the province procedure, pacify, and political control procedure. So this looks like this kind of shows you, it says it's to assist in play. So I guess when you're going through your turn, which it says there's only 1 turn per year, but each year takes 45 to 60 minutes to play. So I'm like trying to figure out where I'm getting lost here, because to me that's like one person's turn, or 1 turn. So my turn and the second player's turn is equal to a year in the game, but there's only there's 45 to 60 minutes is what it takes to complete one of those. So I guess that's why this looks so in depth, because these must be pretty not so simple turns. Like when I go, I'm guessing I'm not just moving someone and then the next person goes. It looks like there's a lot more involved in it. Vietnam, obviously, I'm guessing that the Vietnamese are involved in it, and it says Hearts and Minds. Probably the US is my guess. I don't know. We'll figure it out more once we look at a little bit more of the stuff here. But yeah, this looks like a flow chart, and it kind of reminds me of like those books that you used to read. I know Gimpy used to read them as a kid, where they're like interactive books, and you would read to a certain point, and then it would give you an option, and it would say, if you choose this option, turn to this page, and if you choose this option, turn to this other page. So this kind of looks like that, because it says, like on this one, for example, we have interphase and then score campaign cards. Each player checks Cambodia and then Laos. And then it says, are all units for a side eliminated? And then there's a yes and a no. So it looks like some of these are going to be pretty standard. Like everybody's going to do these in their turn. Then some of them depend on if something has happened. And if something has or has not happened, it'll direct you on what to do next. So this is pretty cool. It looks very in-depth and very scary to me, someone who's not a war gamer. But this is probably very comforting to people who do play, because it looks like it makes it pretty simple and makes it pretty easy to follow, you know, the order of play here. So that's the chart to assist with play. Then there's 2 of these. They look pretty much the same. So it looks like one for each player. So here is one side, and then I'll show you the back, and then we'll look at it. It just says Hearts and Minds, Vietnam, 2019. So this is a brand new game. And there's the back, but it doesn't say like what it is. It just must be another player assist card. So let's look at it. So it says where to deploy units. So it says force and then location. I guess depending on what force, this is the location. Abbreviated sequence of play. So this is a sequence of play. So it says reinforcement phase, skip turn 1. Hand refill phase, draw to 5 cards. Players may secretly select 1 campaign card. Red decides first. And then it says card play phase. Players alternate playing cards, red first, for 4 rounds. So this is each turn, this is what happens. So it says blue, conduct bombing mission. Buy an event printed on the played card. Then mobilize all friendly units in 1 province. Moving groups may be ambushed. Conduct a battle round in 1 province. Attempt PC change in 1 province. Then it says blue, attempt to pacify 1 province, and then save unused RPs to the resource stockpile. And then you move to the interphase. And then there is a battle sequence, and it breaks it down. Defending units may evade. I'm not going to read this. It's just going to get boring from just reading all of it off. But it really doesn't tell me much because I haven't read the rule book and I don't know anything about what this is about or what kind of game it is. Obviously, I know it's a war game and that's it. But it's cool that it gives you the abbreviated sequence of play and it does give you a battle sequence. So I guess not every turn is going to involve a battle, but when it does, it tells you the sequence of events. And then there is a battle table down here as well. And then on the back, we have the interface summary. So after you do the sequence of play, you go into the interface, and that is right here, interface summary, and it lists everything there. Victory goals. So this says end of year, and then we have 1965 through 1975, which is the years that the game is taking place in. And it just says end game goal, red auto win, blue auto win. And then for each year, what needs to happen for those things to happen. We have Vietnamization, reinforcements. Again, we have years. We have blue reinforcement, withdrawals, and red reinforcements. And then the bottom chart says evasion, 1d6. So I guess this is the dice. This is where the dice come in. And it tells you, what you roll and what that equals, what you have, whatever. So these look like more charts that go kind of similar to this. This might be maybe a solitaire part, I'm not sure. But these look like some of those player assist cards that are going to help you. And here's all the counters and the game board. Look at those in a second. So here's the solitaire gameplay, which doesn't seem very long, which I like, but I would never play solitaire, so this does not interest me in the least, but to Gimpy and to you, it probably does. But it's only 7 pages, and yeah, so this is just, if you're gonna play solitaire, this will tell you how you play solitaire, what you do, all that jazz. So yeah, so pretty cool that it has a separate book for solitaire play, so you don't have to dig through a big, thick book. It's gonna be all right here for the solitaire play. This is the rules of play, and I believe the scenarios are supposed to be in here as well. So just glance through it because, again, I don't like to read through it. That defeats the whole guesses aspect of what I do. But it says introduction, goals of the game. So it gives you what the goals of the game are. There is a chart for the terminology, which I appreciate because as someone who is not a wargaming aficionado, sometimes I might see an abbreviation or see a word, and I'm not stupid, but if it's something that is specific to that game, I'm not going to know what it means. And I like when they have something simple that you can flip to and find the word and figure out what it means to help you instead of trying to figure it out on your own or use context clues. Like, I like the chart. So it has terminology chart, and then it goes on to game components, which we've already read. Then it talks about the map. And then we're going into the counters and what each of them mean. And then we have the cards. And it kind of shows here, just to give you an example, it kind of breaks down what everything on the cards mean. Which, again, that really helps someone like me out. If I was going to play a game, a rule book like this would ensure that I could play it if I wanted to. Because I'm not having to figure out what everything on there means. Because for some games, in my experience, what I've seen, it doesn't have this kind of breakdown of what every number on the counter means or what everything on the card means. It probably does in the rule book somewhere, but it's not an image like this that makes it easy for someone like me who gets bored of reading rules. I'm a visual person, so if I can see and it's pointing the arrow exactly to what it is, then it's going to be a lot easier for me to understand and possibly play. Even though I think I've said this before, but I really highly doubt I would ever play a solitaire war game. I just don't know that that would happen. I don't know what would need to happen in order to convince me to do that, but it's good to know that if that day ever came when pigs flew, that there are some games that have these, you know, that make it simple. So then we go from the cards to, it's listing all the different cards. So there's response cards, there's campaign cards, there's zone campaigns, grand campaigns, and then we move on to resource points. Then we have another sequence of play section. So yeah, this is just literally taking us through the whole game. Now, I'm looking for the scenarios because it said that it was kind of all the same. So, let's see. Okay, so this must be where the scenarios start on this side. This just says designer notes, and then 20, this is the scenarios. So I think these back here must be the actual scenarios. Each of these for each different year maybe is a different scenario, but it says here scenarios, and it lists out player, choose sides, and pick starting and ending years. So that's how you get your scenarios. Each of these is a year, and it says you pick your starting year and your ending year, and that's how you determine which scenario you're gonna play, is my guess. And then once we get through all the scenarios, then we get to Tet offensive. Again, that would be a terminology or a phrase I wouldn't know what that means, but there we go. And then we go on to Easter offensive, which is good because Easter's tomorrow, so I guess you can only play this one on Easter, so that's cool. Totally kidding. And then card play notes, and then these are just like credits, it looks like. And then on the back there is a Bush events table. These events apply to only SVN provinces. Do not roll on this table in Laos, and Cambodia. When a player is asked or required to spend RPs, he may spend stockpile RPs too, and they do not count against his actions. When an event specifies units or a province, it is always in the province where the event occurred. Now, I know I'm reading parts of this, but just to reassure you so you don't think I'm cheating, it means nothing to me. And once I get about one sentence in and it starts doing these abbreviations that I don't have a clue what they mean, I glaze over and I'm just acting like a robot, basically. But there's the back. So that's the rules of play, and honestly, even flipping through it as much as I did doesn't really tell me anything. Let's look at the cards first because there is a whole bunch of counters. And I'm going to get these into a little baggie so they're nice and separated for when Gimpy decides to play, because he was waiting on me to be able to show you guys a playthrough. So here are some of the cards. There looks like there's some green and some blue. What I mean by green and blue is this has blue on it and this has green on it. Now, it doesn't say that it's a specific card. This says response, so like, I guess this is a response card. Tunnel rats, search and destroy. So these sound like action cards. Then there are some people, green berets. So there's like some units as well. So yeah, it looks like action cards, unit cards, maybe individual people cards, and then response cards on these blue sides. There's one of them just to show you. And then we have these green ones. This one says 300 coup. That must maybe is an action. It says cost 1 RP, draw 2 extra cards. You should finish the year with 3 cards. Monsoon season. So these look like more action type of cards or events maybe. I don't know. They're not super clear on what they are. Sometimes you get a game where it'll say on the card, this is an event card. Or it'll say on this side, this is what this is. But they all look the same on the front and on the back. Some of them do. Like this says response card. So I know this is a response card. But the rest of them don't, so I don't have any way of knowing. I'm gonna leave them together because I don't know if they were meant to be separated or not, but I don't think these will fit in there anyway. No, they won't, so I'll just put them back in here. So that was one stack of cards here. Come on. And we have one other stack, and then we have all of our counters, which there's a lot of. It says there was 175 plus of those. just one. And then this one, this looks like more of the same. I don't think there's really any, I don't know if there's a rhyme or reason as to how they're divided up, if they were just divided up just how they were printed. But we have some more blue. There are some red in this one. I think the rest of these are red. Yeah, the rest of these are red. And again, we have some that say response. And then we have some that look like a person, a weapon, like an AK-47, Buddha's birthday, so maybe an event, like unit type things, more people. Now the back, let's see, Campaign X. So there's a campaign card, the Secret War, Walter Cronkite. That's funny. LA Drang, Iron Triangle, Tet Offensive. So these look like these might go Grand Campaign. So I don't know if these are like, you pull these out if you're playing those offensives. I don't know. But there's an Easter offensive and a Tet offensive card, which I read in the rulebook. So whatever that means. And then the blue ones look like more of the same from the other one. Just some people, places, events, campaign, that kind of stuff. So yeah, cards, again, tell me nothing. So I'm kind of still operating at a loss. The only thing I know for sure is this is a Vietnam-based game that happens from 1965 to 1975. And that's really all I can tell you. I haven't seen anything else that indicates what other parties are involved. I'm assuming the U.S. because Walter Cronkite is from the U.S. So I'm assuming that the U.S. is involved. And I know that's who was involved in Vietnam. You're probably all like hitting your heads on your keyboard like, you're so stupid. I've never claimed to be a history buff. So, all right. Now let's move on to the counters. And oh, is this the board? Wow. So the board is huge. I mean, massive, but it's a very thick cardboard, which is good because as some of you OG viewers are probably always remember when you watch one of my videos is that there was a game. I don't remember the name of the game. If you've been around for a while, you probably remember it very well, but there was a game I was doing a Gus's on, and it was more of like a poster material that the game board was made of. And so when I tried to open it, it was all folded up like this. It kept ripping when I tried to fold it back up. And yeah, everybody cringed at that. So I appreciate these nice thick game boards so I don't have to worry about ripping anything or breaking it before he gets to play. Because I really was being very careful and it just wasn't going my way. So here is the game board. I don't even know if I'm holding it up the right way. I think I am. Or this way maybe. I think it goes long ways. No? Because then there's on that side. I don't know. Let's fold it back up and try to look at it in smaller sections here. So, oh, come on. All right. There's a game track on here. We have the years, so 65 to 75. We have another over here, which I really appreciate this when they put on the actual game board the sequence of play. So we have abbreviated sequence of play and battle sequence. The battle table is here. So it looks like most of the things that we saw in the rule book are also on the board itself, which is cool. And it looks like the board will go this way, and one side is over here, one side is over here because it looks like the same charts are listed on that side. This is the blue, that's the green. And then yeah, it's just a map of Vietnam, and we have Cambodia, we have South Vietnam, Laos, which we saw, Thailand. So yeah, this looks like a map. There are zones. Looks like IV Court Zone 4. That's probably Roman numerals, so that would be 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then it's Zone 4, 3, 2, and 1. So I don't know. The game board means nothing. It doesn't give me any other indication of anything. So I'm going to just hold it up and move on to the counters because this might have some more interesting things that might give me some more insight as to exactly what this is. But as far as when and where, 1965 to 1975, looks like as far as these scenarios, you can choose your starting year and your ending year. Now, I didn't read the rule book, obviously, so I don't know if there's like, you can only have a 2-year or a 3-year spread, or if you could say, I want it to start in 65 and I want it to end in 75. I don't know how that part works, but it says you choose the starting and ending year, and that kind of dictates what scenario you're playing and what cards and or counters and stuff you start with. So looking at these, we have veteran. This red flag, I think that might be the Vietnam flag, but I could be wrong. Again, I am not a history buff or a flag buff, so I need to watch more Fun with Flags with Sheldon and Amy because I don't know my flags. But this one says veteran on the back with like 2 rifles kind of crossed. 2 and 4 are the numbers that are on it, and then on the front it says untried with 1 and 4, but it looks the same. The back is red and the front is kind of peach on these up here. Then these middle ones here, we have some more of those, and then we have these which look like there's a couple of tanks. Looks like some kind of a cannon here in the middle, and they don't have anything on the back of those. And then there's these that say SRP, I don't know what that means. And then these down here look like just different people. Looks like Viet Cong to me maybe. And then on the back it says VC, which I'm assuming stands for Viet Cong, so I got that right. And then it just has 2 and 1, 1 and 1 with the rifles crossed. And then these up here say bad intel on the back. So there is the front, here is the back. They do feel pretty sturdy. They're not popping out super easy, but I did almost just pop one out. So to me, whenever I'm touching it and one pops out super easy, I'm not mad about it because it means you don't have to really do a lot of wiggling or tearing. And sometimes when that happens, if they're not cut really good, then the counters can be a little uneven or have little, rips sticking off of them. So they look like good counters. That was page 1. Oh, see, I just popped one out. So this is page 2, it looks like. And usually it says front and back. This one doesn't say that. But we have so here's the US. So we have untried with all the different numbers with the 2 rifles crossing. We have some untried with what looks like the Korean flag, I believe. And then some US airplanes. It looks like some US tanks. More of those SRP. Then we have a whole bunch of stars. We have a year counter here. 2, 6, and 4, just the numbers, and then port closed, dove, RV instability. So that's the front. The back, it looks like the stars are just red stars on the back. The numbers have the odd opposite. So 2 has 1 on the back, 6 has 5 on the back, and 4 has 3 on the back. And then this just says port closed on the back as well. These say hawk on the back, and then coupe. So that is the front, and here is the back. So it looks like there's 3 sheets of counters. It said 175 plus is what I thought. So maybe there are that many and I'm just not seeing them all. I don't know. Then we have this other flag. I have no clue. Just says veteran Arvin. I don't know what that flag is, but we have some more of those untried counters. Then we have some more like cannon type of looking counters for this yellow flag country, a tank, and then we have fire base, some more untried with a different flag with like 1, 2 different, 3, 4 different flags. I don't have a clue what they are with the numbers. Iron triangle, and then Lima site 85. So that's the front. The back, they just say veteran on the back of them. The numbers are a little bit different, and then the fire base token says -2 on the back. Then these all say veteran on the back with different numbers. And then all of these are just blank here at the bottom. So those are the counters. That is this one does say sheet 3 back on the back of it. So at least know which one is sheet 3 back. Oh, they do, I'll say it. I just was looking in the wrong place. So there's sheet 3. So 1, 2, and 3. So those were the counters. So now we've looked at literally everything in the box. And I really can't give much of a guess. I mean, sometimes the guess is a little redundant because it's obvious to you, usually, what these games are about. But the box kind of gives away the location and the time. It says Vietnam and it says the years that it takes place. I did see American flags on here, so I know that the US is involved, I know the Viet Cong is involved. I believe, what is the flag, this flag here with the, I want to say that that's Korea, but I'm feeling like that might be wrong. But I think that's Korea, but I could be wrong. But there's obviously a lot of Asian countries that are involved with the US. And it's a battle game. Again, the year and the game turn kind of confuses me because it says 1 turn equals a year. Is that what it said? Let's see. So on the back, and our 2 giant dice, we can't forget. So it says that 1 turn per year. And then when it's talking about average time to play, it says 45 to 60 minutes per game year. So that is throwing me off. The turns did look pretty in depth. We had those charts, 2 different types of charts to show you kind of, and the sequence of play is pretty long list, and there's different sections of the play. So like there's a sequence of play, but then there's a battle sequence, and then there's another sequence. So it looks like maybe this is right. 1 turn, meaning when I go, if you're playing solitaire, that would be when you go, or if you're playing 2-player, once both players have gone through their entire turn sequence, that must take 45 to 60 minutes. Because it says that's how long it takes per game year. So this must be a pretty in-depth game if each turn takes that long, and each turn is the equivalent to a year. So that's probably why there is so much involved in it, because a lot's going to happen in a year. So it's making it a little more realistic to say that an hour to play 1 turn is the same as a year in the game. So I guess it makes sense. It just sounds like a lot more than I could ever handle. But it looks promising. The rulebook looked really user-friendly. I liked that it showed you with images what was on each card and what the counters meant, like what each of the things meant. I really did appreciate that. But as far as everything else goes, this one is flying right over my head. There's not really any more of a detailed guess I could give you other than Vietnam, the US, Korea, and some other countries are involved, I'm guessing. And that it takes place in Vietnam, 1965 to 1975, and you're just playing out what happened there. So I guess it depends on who you're playing as is what your goal is and how you win. It did say in the rulebook what the goals of the game are, so I think that's also pretty cool, because for me, again, if you're new, then you've not heard this before, but for me, when I play a game, I like a very simple, straightforward objective, like in Left 4 Dead. You want to get to this, checkpoint, kill the zombies, avoid other zombies, pick up supplies along the way. But it's a pretty simple objective for the game, right? Some of these games, it doesn't list out, this is your specific goal to win. It's just like, here's how you play, and here's how you find out if you win, but there's not like to win, you do this. So when I see something like this one that has a goal of the game, it gives me hope that maybe it's not as crazy in depth as I think it is, but looking at all of the turn sequence and the charts involved in this and all the scenarios and all the different flags and counters and cards that were confusing, it looks very in-depth. And if 1 turn takes 45 to 60 minutes, then I would say this is definitely a very in-depth, very detailed game. It looks like it's historically based, so I don't know how accurate it is, but the pictures on the cards looked like real people, much like this artwork looks very realistic, very like a picture taken and kind of made to look more digital, but it's like a real picture is what it looks like. So I'm guessing that it's pretty historically accurate, but I could be wrong. There could be little things that are off in it, but yeah, I guess this is kind of just reenacting what happened in Vietnam in those years between all those different flags. I have no idea who they are. And I'm not going to guess because it just makes me look even dumber than I already look. So anyways, that was Hearts and Minds, Vietnam, 1965 to 1975 by Gimpys Games. I hope you guys enjoyed this and it wasn't too crazy or confusing for you. Be on the lookout. Gimpy is excited to get this on the table and start playing it for you guys. Make sure you give our videos a thumbs up. That's how we know if you like what we're doing. And as I said, baby is due in July. I'll give you a little belly update here. So baby is due July 11th. So things are going to slow down around then, but until then we're going to be trying to crank out as many as we can. We have some really cool games for you and her, ideas that we'd like to get on the table before baby comes. So if you like games for you and her, definitely let us know in the comments. Let us know what you guys like, what you enjoy. If there's games that you want to see us guess, or games that, we've mentioned or you want to see a playthrough on, comment or message Gimpy, because he loves getting feedback from you guys. He really, really gets his kicks whenever you tell him that you bought a game because he recommended it. That means literally more to him than anything when it comes to his channel, because it means that he's sharing something with you that he likes and you guys are responding and he really enjoys that. So make sure you're liking. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this Gimpys Gal guesses and we will see you in the next one. Bye.